Thank you for the introduction, and I thank the audience for being so many here to listen to this extremely important topic, I think, and thank you also for the organizers to have us all here. I'm very honored and proud to be part of this beautiful panel, and I thank my two pre-speakers for their, for the explanation. So my job today is more to transfer all these theories that we just heard to the practical aspect that we see in the office every day. So I will not show you many scientific data, but mainly how the patients present in our offices. And when we discussed this topic before between us, we said, well, it is not always the typical couple, as also Emanuele described, the couple that has been together for 30 years, a heterosexual couple, very long together, but it's very, very different couples that we see. And that's what I want to share with you today. Approach towards the couple from the gynecologist's perspective. So here are my disclosures. And midlife women of around 50 years may have hot flushes, sleep disturbances, mood disorders, joint pain, all sorts of complaints. And Rosella just described it very nicely, vaginal dryness, dyspareunia, all of which can have an impact on their sexual life and relationship. I think we just heard that very, very nicely. And this may lead to this couple pause, which definitely not only refers to an empty bed, but also to maybe a certain emptiness within the couple. So problems in counseling women, so I'm a gynecologist, I usually only see the women, is often the women do not speak primarily about their problems with their partner and or their sexual life, but focus on organic complaints. So the patient may be telling you, I have pain during intercourse, but that how much it bothers her, she won't tell you, and you really have to ask, being the physician. Often the topic only comes up during the examination when you as a doctor notice, well, the vagina is very dry, so there's atrophy. And then you may ask her, isn't it painful to have sex? So often women, and that is very amazing, are not aware that the vaginal dryness has something to do with the estrogen deficit during menopause and beyond. And they really don't know it, that it's just the estrogen deficit that that produces these complaints. Very often, the women we see in the offices are shy to address their sexual problems. And sometimes it's only during leaving the room already that she suddenly turns out and says, oh, doctor, there's something, it's really painful to have sex. Now you had a 20-minute consultation already and there's no time left. So this is very typical, I would say. But very often, also the doctor is shy to address the problem, though it should be addressed. So it is actually a problem from both sides, the patient and the doctor. So there's another couple we are talking about. We didn't mention that so far. So in most cases, women come alone to see their gynecologist. The partner is invisible. And that is the next problem that we encounter. You always only see one side of the problem, mainly. I will show you one patient where it's the other way round. So the couple situation can be very, very different. And that is something we have to take into account. So I will share with you now a number of patients that I see in the office. Like this one, 52-year-old, last menstrual period 4 months ago, so she is clearly peri- or postmenopausal. She has been married for 25 years, mostly happy relationship, and that is the typical couple that also Emanuele described before, so the long marriage, long-standing marriage, maybe hopefully with a happy sex life, but now, well, she has 2 children, they're out of house, and she tells you, I have had regular sex over many years, twice a week. Now, since about 6 months, this doesn't work anymore. Something is wrong with it. Sex is painful. When her partner approaches her, she has excuses and meanwhile has given up any approach. She misses the intimacy but doesn't know how to handle the situation. So how would you prescribe the whole thing? She suffers from vaginal atrophy. She doesn't know what to do about it, But the main topic is here, she can't talk with her partner about the topic, so she just avoids. So next example is a 50-year-old patient, irregular bleeding since 1 year. She got married at the age of 24, had 3 children with this partner, got divorced after 12 years. I think nowadays also a very typical situation. Several years, no fixed relationship, single mom, 3 children, working. Had some episodes of online dating for a couple of years with several partners, no lasting relationship. This is also something we very often hear from our patients. Now she has a new partner since 5 years, a very fulfilling relationship, and she tells you much better than the former husband in every aspect. But now, libido is getting less and less since 1 year. She's very much afraid to address the topic with her partner, and the cause is in fear of losing him. So she pretends that everything is fine, that she has fun having sex, which is not the case. So the problem here is she also is afraid of talking to her partner because she's afraid of losing him, which I think, again, is something we really have to address. Now, next patient, 56-year-old patient, last menstrual period 3 years ago. The patient has been married for 30 years again. Gynecological exam is very painful due to a vaginal dryness. A dialogue, now I tell you, a dialogue between me and the patient, and this is really a real dialogue that has taken place in the office. I ask her, probably intercourse is very painful, isn't it? Because on examination, I can imagine. She says, "Oh, doctor, this isn't a topic between me and my husband anymore. We have not had sex for more than a year, and I really don't miss it." Important issue, she doesn't miss it. And then I ask her, "How does your husband feel about it?" And then this woman, having been married for more than 30 years, tells you, "Doctor, I don't ask him that. How could I?" And my answer is, I think you better should, because otherwise there will be definitely a problem in the relationship, for my opinion. And I'm very astonished that after such a long-standing marriage, women cannot talk with their partners about the topic. So there is no communication at all. So next one, 49-year-old patient, still regularly menstruating. She's in a homosexual relationship and is married to her wife, who is 5 years her senior, for 10 years. They have been together for 15 years all in all. On gynecological exam, she suddenly prescribes that the intimacy with her partner, and she also says, well, that has been great for the first 10 years of the relationship, is getting less and less. Now you have the fantasy, the partner is 5 years her senior, so she's 54. So what's happening here? Probably the partner has menopausal problems. Your patient is increasingly feeling the gap between her partner and her. She's very unhappy about it, but has the impression that the partner, who had her menopause 2 or 3 years ago, is more and more withdrawing. The partner has the organic problem. The couple has the communication problem. So that is something we absolutely do have to address. So next one, 54-year-old patient on MHT for 3 years. She has been married for the 3rd time. This marriage is going on for 8 years now. They have no children. Husband is 10 years older than her. Her climacteric complaints are well under control. She's on MHT, she feels well, does not have any complaints, and she uses vaginal estradiol, suppositories and cream. So everything is fine with her. So you ask her any climacteric problems. No, everything is fine. But she tells you that the frequency of sex has declined markedly in the recent 2 years because of an erectile dysfunction in her partner. He more and more avoids sexual contacts, and she misses that terribly. She has already thought about dating other colleagues because she misses the sexual experience. So the partner has the organic problem again. The couple has the communication problem. So it all ends up there. So last one, 53-year-old woman. She comes in your office accompanied by her partner. He's 55 years. The couple has been together for 7 years. He complains that she does not want sex anymore. and that I, as a doctor, should solve the problem. Make her have more sex, doctor. And I say, okay. Actually, that at this point, I tend to send the partner outside the office, but I don't. So the woman does not add much to the conversation, though that's very typical. So the woman sits there, doesn't say much. Liz, you tell. And she reports climacteric complaints when you ask her. Besides hot flashes, her sleep is very poor. She feels increasingly depressed, and that is enhanced by the relation problem. She is, again, afraid that he might leave her. So in this case, the partner thinks only she has the problem, and it's not his issue to solve it, but mine. Or the partner's, but not his issue. And again, this couple should start talking. So if you think about all these couples, their situation is very, very different. We know from experience that it's quite normal in a relationship that the libido is getting less after the first 2, 3, 4 years of wonderful sex. That is a quite typical thing that you have to address. But here also the organic problems have to be taken into account, plus the communication, the lack of communication. That's something all these couples have in common. Sexuality and intimacy has changed within the last 1 to 3 years due to hormonal changes of the menopause, maybe due to problems in the male partner, erectile dysfunction, maybe due to other problems in the relationship that have nothing to do with the menopause itself. Maybe some other factors have influenced the relationship. You all know that there are multiple reasons for that. And kind of our job is to discern between these topics. Is it more a psychological problem within the couple, or is it mainly the organic problem that has to be solved? But the main issue in all this is due to a lack of communication or due to a bad communication with the partner, the problem becomes bigger and may even lead to a separation of the couple. So what are my take-home messages? Hormonal changes of the menopause can have a major impact on the sexual life of couples. The couple situation of these women presenting in the office vary immensely, and that you have to take into account. Is it a relationship that has been going on for 30 years? Is this just a fresh relationship? This is something you have to ask your patient. Improving the lack of communication between the partners is paramount. So that is the most important thing, and you have it to address it. Like with this one patient when I said, well, you better should ask your husband. We, as healthcare professionals, and that again is crucial to the whole thing, we need to be aware of the issue and need to actively address the organic side of the problem, but also the interaction and psychology of the couple. I think this is really very important. And the most important take-home message maybe is make the partner visible in your office, even if he's not there. And thank you for listening.